Hello, fantasy football fans. Today's topic is going to be the game has changed. The game of football in the NFL has changed over the course of time. We have to embrace change. In the old days, teams would run the ball, control the clock, and play great defense. A lot of times this would get them a victory. Very few teams today play that style of football. The days of having one back that will wear down defenses are gone. Most teams today have two, sometimes even three running backs in their offensive attack. So as the NFL changes, so much the world of fantasy football. Once upon a time, you could build your fantasy football team around two solid running backs. You would probably spend your first and second round pick on a pair of good running backs that would carry your entire team. You could build completely around them. Then all of a sudden, the running back by committee started to come into play, and this made building a fantasy team more challenging. Back in 2003, when I first began playing fantasy football, selecting two running backs early was a necessity. After 2 years of drafting, with this approach, I felt that I was drafting a running back in the second round that, in all reality, was probably worth a 6th to 7th round pick. I felt I was selling myself short. The days of a dominating running back had ended, and the days of more productive quarterbacks had begun. There are two positions that score more frequently, quarterbacks and running backs. And one playing fantasy football must realize the importance of drafting a quality starting quarterback and a quality backup for insurance purposes as well. It's more beneficial to draft a quarterback that, barring injury, will be on the field every offensive play, other than drafting a strong running back that is caught up in a running back by committee situation. Last year, 10 quarterbacks passed for more than 4,000 yards, and 12 other quarterbacks threw for 25 or more touchdowns. Of the top 20 point producers, 14 of those were quarterbacks. Only 6 backs scored over 200 fantasy points last year. How should this change your draft approach for this year? You can now build your fantasy team around an elite quarterback. An elite quarterback will produce quality numbers on a more consistent basis. I feel that quarterbacks will go much faster this year come draft day. Fantasy owners should not at all avoid running backs, but be very selective with the backs that you do choose. Running backs have now taken a back seat to the quarterbacks. There are only a handful of featured running backs in the league, and if you are presented with the opportunity to draft one, you should pull the trigger. However, greater emphasis needs to be placed on drafting two quarterbacks sooner rather than later. This is FantasyEndzone.com. Thank you.